Our ongoing series, Issues That Matter, explores the challenges that affect our country today. We focus this morning on gender discrimination in the workplace. Tech investor Ellen Pao made headlines during her 2015 gender discrimination trial. It was against Silicon Valley venture capital firm Kleiner Perkins Caufield Byers. Pao claimed in the $16 million lawsuit that she experienced bias as an employee. She also said she was overlooked for promotions and suffered retaliation after she complained. In the interest of full disclosure, I have a long-time business and professional relationship with Kleiner Perkins and their people, and in fact, I have known Ellen Pao since about 10 years.
Yeah.
Tell me what you hope to accomplish.
Well, let's just point out real quickly that the case became one of the most prominent lawsuits of its kind in Silicon Valley. Pao lost the suit, but she helped revolutionize the national conversation about gender equality in the tech industry and other fields. She reveals her story for the first time in a new memoir called Reset: My Fight for Inclusion and Lasting Change. Ellen Pao, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Let's follow on just what Charlie was just about to ask you about. First, describe what you think was the type of discrimination that you faced at the company.
It was two things. It was one, the broader women not getting promoted, people of color not getting hired, and it was also the smaller things. So it's being asked to get the coffee, being asked to babysit, partners' kids, being asked to take notes, being, only women being asked to take notes. So it was the broader not being able to get promoted, but it was also being treated as a second-class citizen and being asked to do things that other people were not asked to do.
And you said men were not asked to do those things. Men who were junior to you were not asked to do those type of things.
Right. It was very much an expectation that women were willing to do that work and were the right people to do that work.
Is your argument that Silicon Valley needs to change faster than it is, or simply not changing?
I don't think it's really changing. I think people have seen the problem now. There's so many women and so many men who have spoken up about it. But in order to really change, you have to change everything about the system, right? You're bringing people in a system that interviews in a way that protects the people who are already there. You bring in your friends to your company. It's a very traditional way of hiring. And you need to open that up and figure out how you can get other people in and then how you can make them successful in a way that's fair.
There's a front page story today in USA Today that quotes you prominently about Asian women in particular. Do you think that it is different for Asian women? They say that you're often told, a generic you, often told that you speak too softly, you should bring in a man, that Asian women are mistaken for other women on the team, and that you're a proposition all the time. You think this is true?
I think it's true. I think it's different for different races, and I think the intersectionality plays a big role. And for Asians, there's an expectation, especially for Asian women, that you'll be subservient, that you're not going to rock the boat, that you're going to take these second-tier roles and just do them happily and work really hard at them.
I noticed, Ellen, after the lawsuit and everything, and you wrote in the New York Times, you've had trouble finding another job, that you've been described by people as fraud and greedy. How have you dealt with that?
It's been, I've been lucky. I've had people who have reached out to me, so people who've had their own experiences and have said they've connected to my story, and they've thanked me, in many different ways for sharing my story. And that has been, made this work rewarding. So the fact that people are finding value in it, and even if I had a hard time finding a job, there was a bigger reason for it.
Well, it feels like, too, that after your lawsuit, there became this scrutiny, really, of Silicon Valley that has led to everything from Uber to, a number of different companies, that scrutiny.
And women
Google
speaking out, too, because of your case.
So I think that was the reason for all of the change, that I spoke up, and then dozens of women have spoken up.
But why do you think you lost the case, though, Ellen? What you laid out, I thought, was very compelling in your book and the people that you talked to. Why do you think you lost the case? And do you think there are things you should have or could have done differently?
I think people didn't believe that it could happen. And there was also a set, in the trial, the jury candidates who believed that there was bias in tech were all kicked off the jury pool. So you ended up with a group of people who did not think there was bias in tech, and those people weren't able to see it. And
what's crazy about this for me is that somebody, if you are a business person, a businessman or a woman, you want to find the smartest people you can to help you achieve your results. So discrimination is stupid. Beyond wrong, it's stupid. You want to use the talents of everybody.
Yeah. I think there's a set of people who don't believe that women and people of color can execute and can perform and work the same way that other people can. So there's a set of people who think that people aren't.
No,
well,
equal.
no, Charlie have biases.
There's no evidence to prove.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
back
people
to
have
Charlie's point, though, about finding the best people. You were highly credentialed, Princeton undergrad,
Yep.
Harvard Law School. Still, there were things where people questioned your intelligence, and you started to doubt yourself.
And I think it's bias. It's just people don't think that women and people of color perform at the same level, regardless of all their experience and regardless of all their education. They can't look at the facts. They have, a lens that just prevents them from letting them succeed.
I think one of the nice things your book does, it's called Reset 2. It includes tips for people who are underrepresented groups, perhaps in Silicon Valley. What are some of those tips?
I think one is find a place that is actually going to help you succeed. So, if you're stuck in a place where they don't give you those opportunities, where they, ignore your experience and they put you in a lower role, try to get out if you can. And another one is, speak up for other people. So speak up for yourself, speak up for other people when you can, and just really make sure that you're always learning, make sure that, you can see that there's bias and discrimination, but also learn when you can from the feedback that is actually helpful.
What's happened to you since you left Kleiner Perkins?
It took me a while to find a job. I was very lucky. Ishan Wong at Reddit hired me for an executive role, and then I worked there for maybe a year and a half, and then they promoted me to CEO when Ishan left. I went and made a lot of changes at Reddit. So I got rid of revenge porn, I got rid of unauthorized nude pictures, and that sparked all of the big companies to follow, which was great. But then I also tried to get rid of some of the sites that were harassing individuals, and that caused a lot of controversy. I ended up getting asked to leave, and then after a year and a half, during which time I wrote the book, I ended up joining the KPOR Center. And I'm working as Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. I started a nonprofit called Project Include, which is designed to help everyone get a fair chance in tech. And now I'm here with you.
And Kleiner Perkins says this about you, that your lawsuit is without merit and that the firm is committed to supporting women and minorities in the tech industry. You were advised not to bring the lawsuit by other women, but you did it anyway. Regrets about that?
Not at all. I mean, from all the support that I've received and from the change that I'm starting to see in perceptions of how people are treated, it's been, it's been worth it.
And you've started a big discussion on this, Ellen Pao. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
Reset is on sale today.